Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Conversation That Matter,
Show
episode 20 fucking one.
21. All right.
What is up, my mates?
It's
How's
going
life?
okay. It's going okay. What about you?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Everything is going as I want to. Life is good.
How is the weather in Manchester? Is the summer there?
Yeah, of course. I'm wearing short sleeves. I'm going to the beach every day. I don't know. Nah, no, dude. I think you've seen my stories on Instagram. Like on
Yeah,
Saturday, it
exactly.
was -5, and I was cycling across Manchester to come home, and I was freezing. Like it was snowing, really, really, really snowing. But it
Yeah,
is what it is. Like you can do anything about it.
yeah. Here we have the sun.
Thanks for the motivation. Yeah, keep going, mate. Thanks.
As always, today we had the sun all day long from around 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
By the way, tomorrow is the equinox, right? It's same amount of daylight to same amount of night time.
really.
Yeah,
That's
21st of
cool.
March. Yeah, and from then on, from the 21st of March until the 23rd of June, it will be increasingly longer and longer days.
GG,
So
nice.
summer is here, dude. Let's enjoy it, right?
For me, I will enjoy it in 7 days that I'll be back. So
Yeah.
we'll have to
What's your
start making
favorite
plans.
season? Is it summer?
Of course, man. Like I was born for summer.
All right. Okay. I get it.
Like no, I think every like season has the beauty. You can always find something good to do every season, like the snow and the sun and blah blah blah. But for me personally, I think that with my kind of personality and my way of thinking and my way of life in general, it's mostly the summer because I want to go out. I want to be able to because as a person, my DNA, like I'm very very cold. Like even when I was in Greece, I was wearing two socks, exothermic clothes, both bottom and down, and then and both up and down, and three pullovers and jackets and stuff like that. So imagine, for me, it's not like the best. But yeah, anyway, something interesting happened to me today.
All right.
So basically, we had, and I want to share to see basically what you're thinking about that. So one of the people from the research group I'm a part of had his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, when one of the members has its birthday, we go and we celebrate by eating lunch at a restaurant, around Manchester. And at this specific time, we went to a eat as you can buffet. And dude, it was like hell. You could find things like Italian foods, Indian foods, British, French. Then it was a chocolate fountain.
Oh
Then
my God.
a
Yeah.
whole little room full with sweets and fruits and jelly beans. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know where to start and where to end. So what I did, I was like, okay, let's go. First plate, I ate the first plate. Then second plate, I ate the second plate. Then third plate, I ate the third plate. And I was like, no, I paid for that. I need to eat more, more, more. And then I was like, okay, let's go to eat the sweets. And I went to the sweets and I put a chocolate pie. I put jelly beans, but of different colors. And I think one was like kiwi, the other one was lemon, and the other one was strawberry. And then another sweet, and I start eating those as well. And then I was completely full, of course, and I couldn't even move. And, I was sitting there watching everyone, everyone was filled. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, every time you're available to, they give you the opportunity to eat as much as you will eat as much as you can, even if you are completely full. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you become gluttonous.
What does that mean?
It's the feeling of like
Lemargos.
exactly, yeah, never having enough, never. It's like what you're saying, like you become insatiated.
Okay, insatiable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we all became that, and I was like, yeah, in general, I would have been okay with just one plate and just one sweet and my water. But no, since I paid more and I have the ability to eat as much as I want and as much as I can, I will 100% take advantage of that. Now, what's interesting is that the exact next thought of me thinking that was number one, our podcast, and me sharing this thought with you because I was like, why the fuck don't we do exactly the same with our life? Like, yeah, okay, maybe you don't have an eat as much as you want buffet, but we have a 24 do whatever you want hours in your life. And I see people that are like prefer sleep more and not to work and complain and not take advantage of that. And I was like, why the fuck are we doing this? Why aren't we just like realize that we have 24 hours, which is I think 664,860 seconds, maybe. Let me know in the comments below if you guys know. And we have to take advantage the most out of it. So, what do you think about that? Why are people doing this? And in general, what's your opinion?
That's interesting. I think it's understanding basic psychology first,
Can I
because
say something before that? And also, I realized that we are completely fucked up in the terms of, when other people are eating, we are thinking about, philosophy. So, yeah, anyway.
that's us, right? So, yeah, it's. I think it's understanding like basic psychology is. I think what Freud had said way back is that we actually have two mechanisms that drive action, right? Which is the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Okay. Now, what happens is when you live a life where there is not much adversity and there is no inherent sense of urgency because modern life is very convenient. It's the level of comfort is really high. Then you don't have to do anything to avoid pain, and at the same time you don't have any extreme motivation to pursue pleasure because everything that you want you can have instantly, and you can easily feel instant gratification. Okay, and this is always reinforced with tasty food. It is reinforced with social media, with pornography, with video games, with alcohol, with nightlife, with anything like that. Smoking, drugs, and stuff like that. So when people in general indulge all these habits, these instant gratifications, then they become desensitized to what's really important, and they lose sight of like all the things that actually are worth pursuing, and therefore they feel like there is no urgency, and this is why they prefer to bide their time, and just wait and do nothing essentially for extended periods of time. Of course, the downside to that is that when you are inactive, your energy levels like gradually decline in a way. So then comes the after effects of that, which is depression, melancholy, deep, low energy levels in general, low libido and stuff like that. So I think that the causes of what you said, like what you asked, is that our lives are not volatile enough for us to generally, be really on our feet 24/7 and keep our lives, keep ourselves active. I think that's it.
Okay. I like the fact that you said about the thing that, like, you said something about this, the sense of urgency. And it's funny because there is one productivity law, which is the Parkinson's law. And basically, Parkinson's law says that an activity will be extended as long there is, period of time till the end of a deadline. So, as you know exactly, and as I also know, when we were in college, we will be waiting for the last moment to submit a report. We will be waiting till Monday 12 o'clock to submit it because we knew that we have till then.
Yeah, I agree.
So urgency, yeah, that's an interesting topic. Yeah, I like that.
It's always a matter of urgency, and this is also like reflected in sales. The easiest, the most effective, like psychological trick, is the sense of scarcity. It's like, claim this offer, it is available until tomorrow. And it's like this puts you in a position, in a psychological position, to avoid the pain of losing something that you want.
Nice.
Right? So it's like, oh my God, this is a great deal. I need to have it now or I will lose it. This is it. People don't understand that when they don't do anything, they are actually losing. If they understood that, it's like they would be more motivated to do things. So, for example, let's say that imagine yourself, like now you are, I don't know, you're 24, right? Okay.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Imagine if for the past 6 years you hadn't missed a single workout session in the gym. Imagine what would your body look like right now?
Yeah, all right.
You would be practically sort of a bodybuilder, right?
Sure, yeah.
Minus the steroids, of course, but like your body would be 10 times better than it is right now, right? Because you for the past 5 years you haven't had every single workout in the gym, right? So this is an example. So take Yannis at 30 years old, right? And imagine how Yannis would look like if Yannis doesn't miss a single workout for the next 6 years until you become 30 years old.
Nice, yeah.
Right. And now every time that you decide not to go to the gym, you also acknowledge the fact that you will never become, you are losing that idea of that perfect 30-year-old Yannis body that you had visualized. Okay. And this is a great I think, empowering example, because you do realize, and I think everyone realizes, that time will pass anyway. So you might as well do something with it. It's like it's like investing, you know, like time will pass anyway, so you might as well do something with it, allow it to you know, to grow, allow your thing to grow in a way. And you can also use the analogy of having a farmer, like a farm, you know, you sow the seeds and then you reap the rewards, but you have to wait.
Nice. Yeah. You mentioned at some point about that if you don't take action, it's like, you know, you already failed, right? Or something like that. I don't remember the exact words. And, you know, this arise a memory into my mind from a quote that I really, you know, love. And that's a quote from J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author. And she said that it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default. And you know, it's sad that people don't get that. Like, come on, do things. Talk to the person you want to, flirt with the co-worker, flirt maybe with a random person on the streets, then go and do the trip you always want to do. Do shit you love even more, and don't be afraid. Like, why not? Like, even if you try, you're gonna learn something. And I know that, you know, people that are following my content and also your content know, and we all the time ranting and raving about it. Like, do something, and even if you fail, failure will be a friend for you and a stepping stone for you to realize how to achieve greatness. And I really wish more people could see that, because they're not even they are afraid, not only of failure, but also they are afraid of success.
I liked what you said. You fail by default. I think that failure is our natural state. It's inevitable, and I remember a good a speech from a good friend of ours, Bill, where he talked about rejection, and he gave several examples of rejection. Like
yeah,
it was a great speech.
I remember it. Yeah, it was really
kudos
good.
to him. And the final example was that, okay, so one, like he used several examples. For example, you talk to a girl and then she tells you to fuck off. Then you marry a girl and then she asks for a divorce. You find a job and then they fire you. And then he scales it up, and then he says that someday you are going to die because you will get a disease, or for any other reason, right? Does it mean that you got rejected? Like, is it something that you can change? Is it something that you can take it personally for any reason? And the answer is no. And this goes to show that failure is completely natural. It's our natural state. It's what happens by default. So there is no reason to give any more meaning to it than the fact that you are set to fail, and when you fail, it should come by no surprise that you failed, and you should be, okay, I failed, so this was supposed to happen. In a way, it was like it was written on the script, you know.
Who freaking who, man? I totally agree. Totally agree. Because failure, I don't know if it was like the mindset that, you know, my parents kind of, you know, instilled in me, or because I read some books, or because I might have felt it on my body, you know, because at some point in my life I realized that not taking action hurts me more than actually trying to do something and then get rejected. But failure is so powerful, and it's crazy how many things you can learn from failure if only you stop and think critically. What was my mistake? Why I did that mistake? How can I make this mistake change? How can I become better from that? How can I I can rebuild myself from my ashes. Like, we are supposed to fail, we are supposed to learn from failure, and then we will succeed. Because I think success deserves to the people that are not afraid to fail 1, 2, 3, 100 times, and they're not afraid to, be seen from the outside world, like someone who is not quote unquote the type of the society that everyone is looking up to. And everyone who is successful at some point have failed. Like, I've read a big portion of the book of the biography of Elon Musk, and like she says, basically, forget about Elon Musk. Let's go to a bigger person, like what's his name? I don't believe that I don't remember the name of the person who created Apple. What's his name?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Steve Jobs. Like, he was fired from the company he made, and exactly because he was fired and he started working in the creative company of graphics, Pixar, he was able to create Apple and then make Apple an futuristic company with amazing designs. Otherwise, Apple wouldn't have been what it was and what it is right now. So, number one, never give up when you fail. Just keep fucking going. And number two, try to learn something from this failure, because it is a huge factor for your success. We only see the tip of the iceberg of the successful people, and what we don't see is that there is a like 80 more percent of iceberg below the surface of the water, full with failures, full with experiences, full with failed tries. And then, like, I preach failure all the time because it transformed me into such a different person.
I completely agree. And the more you persist, the better it gets over time. It's really clear. And I think that even though it sounds cliche, I think that you should seek failure in a way, not to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in a way to make you more inclined to try new things. If you find yourself being in the same place for extended periods of time, like in terms of your work life, your relationships, your personal beliefs, anything like that, I think it's a good time, like, for a change, and for you to try something completely different. Uh, start something, like start a job in a new industry, or talk to some people that you would never talk to otherwise, like people with completely different beliefs than you, and put yourself in situations where, like, you're most likely to fail than to succeed in whatever you try during the first couple of times, because then you can expand, which is very important. If you don't expand, it's I think one of the basic universal principles in a way is that whatever doesn't grow, it dies. It's like there is no stagnation. Stagnation ultimately breeds death. There is no stagnation. Everything has to go up or it has to go down. You cannot remain at the same level for too long. You will inevitably begin to to decline, to have a metaphorical death in a way. So you have to force yourself into failure in order to grow. And I think this is one of the universal principles that I believe in a way.
Don't you also think that failing at something also shows you how much you want it? Because most of us are saying that, yes, I want to do that, I really want that, I'm super passionate about that. Yeah, mate, but are you fucking willing to take the chances and take the time and take the effort and take the pain from the failures that you will, no matter what, feel and experience throughout your journey?
Oh, completely. That's so true. Failure, I think it's what separates quote unquote, the men from the boys, right? The people that take it seriously from the people that are, are doubling around it, and they just they're not committed, they're not focused. Okay, they're not giving it their all, and I think that this is reflected on so many different levels. And for example, is like how many people I don't know, like subscribe to their gym in the first month of every year, and how many people do you see 3 months later, right? It's like they find the first resistance of failure, and this is their judge in a way, and that judge tells them that if you are not willing to fail a little longer, then it's clear that you don't want it enough. Like it's completely binary. Either you want it and you understand that failure is part of the game, or you just don't want it enough. Like, props to you for trying, but like there is no point like in complaining ever again. Like if you don't want it enough, then you don't want it enough. And that's fine. You want other things. But
what do you think is the reason people complain? Is it lack of knowledge? Is it lack of how they grew up? What is it?
I think it's a lack of all knowledge, self-awareness, and experience in a way. And all these things are intertwined in a way, like they're connected. Lack of knowledge means that they don't have a wide enough view of the world. They don't have enough information to process to paint an accurate picture of their reality. This is lack of knowledge. Lack of self-awareness is they don't know what's their place in the world. Okay, maybe they are too young, maybe they are too fucked up psychologically for any reason or anything like that. And the lack of experience is what happens when, like, let's say that it's your first time that you go to the gym. Okay, this means that you don't know what it's like. Okay, so when your expectations meet with reality, and this is how experience is formed, this is how you gain experience, then usually the first impression is that, oh fuck, this is way more different than I thought it would be, right? So when you combine all these things and these things form a failure in certain circumstances, and you place this thing in front of a person who simply doesn't want it enough, then that person complains, because that's their only way of rationalizing that they just don't want it enough. Because the other thing is that usually they're not in a way direct, honest, brave, I don't know how you want to put it, to admit to themselves that I don't want to do it. You know, it's like it's a false dream for them. Like, dude, I don't want to be filthy rich. I give value on other things, okay? But like, honestly, this is the case for me, and they don't want to do it because that it would take a lot of integrity for them to admit that they have their own standards of living, and they don't want to follow other people's standards.
Okay. Interesting.
I wanted to ask you something.
Oh. Shoot it, brava.
What do you think of the concept of money?
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let me be a little more specific, because it's a broad question. Okay. When I say the word money to you, okay, let's say, for example, that I come at your house and I put on the table, I put £1,000. Okay,
Yeah.
and I tell you, here it is, £1,000. Okay, what's your thought?
Okay, first of all,
Thank you
uh,
very much.
yeah, first of all, man, if you ever want to satisfy your, your ability to question, I would highly suggest you to do an actual experiment, and you actually give me £1,000, and we
And see
can
what
go
happens.
from there if you want to. But okay, first of all, I'll be super happy because money means many things. It's not only about status, as most of the people think. It's also about survival, about being able to provide to the people around you, to your family, to your friends, and etc., etc., etc. Now, I would say that as a person, I never like thought money as something ideal, not something ideal. Like, thank God, my family was able to provide me anything I ever wanted. So I guess this resided within me, and I'm like, I understand like that. I don't crave to become a millionaire. What I crave is being able to raise money and help those in my family and those that are around me in general. This is about contribution, and like I think that's something we should discuss. When someone has indeed a lot of money and he can actually make a good big impact into the world. Now, the first thing I would do would be to buy something to myself, not something big, not something fancy, but maybe buy for me a new shirt, or buy for me a new camera, stuff like that. They will help me, and they will kind of give myself an award with a small proportion of those money, because I deserve, quote unquote, to say bravo to myself. Congrats for doing that. You hustled, you earned the money. Now buy something small for you. I'm not telling you to buy, something of 4, 5, 6, 700 pounds of amount, but something small like €50, £50. Then the rest of the money, I would definitely put them into, aside, just in case, and also for future, references. And another big proportion, I would reinvest them into my business.
Okay, so let's say that I come at your place and I put on the table £10,000.
Exactly the same thing.
What do you think of it?
10, like, cool, man. Thanks. No, I wouldn't spend more. I would be more excited because, if I have earned them on my own, right, through my business or through a project or through something, I would be super happy, because it means that what I do actually worth £10,000, and I can see that it is proof that everything is working. Other than that, exactly the same thing. Would buy something for myself, save the rest, and reinvest as much as I could into the business.
Okay.
And basically, I would say, and I know that I'm gonna steal your quote about what's it? I don't think that I forget so much today. What's the law that you always saying?
Compound interest.
The compound interest. Yes, my friend. £1,000 means that I can use the compound interest of 700 of those £1,000, whereas 10,000 might mean that I can use 7,000 of that 10,000 amount, which is more money in terms of. But I think everything goes into reinvesting them somehow, reinvesting them in your knowledge, reinvesting them into an actual business, reinvest them into cryptocurrency or trading. I don't know, but don't just spend the money because you were in scarcity and lack of money. And I highly believe that when you're not expecting money, you're not like craving money, you're not like give prayers to the god of money, you will receive money.
So in a way, you have to be indifferent towards money, but still, have some sense of respect for money.
Not indifference, but being okay with less. Like if you have all the money that you need in order for you to live and to live okay, it's fine. Then yeah, like, damn, I, I could live with one espresso machine and not two professional ones. I can
Okay.
live with, spending to drink 30, 40 beers per month and not drink 1,000 beer. Okay, that's too much. 100 beers.
Okay.
As long as you fulfill your personal needs, I think then what you have to do is make sure to reinvest them in order for you to raise more capital and then be able to change the world if you want to.
What do you think of the common phrase that money is the root of all evil?
I don't believe that. I think people are the root of every good and every evil. It's not money, it's the meaning we have given to money. It's like I would say that, oil and gas is dangerous because many, people around the world are fighting for, in those Arabic countries for having more. But again, this goes into money, and money are linked directly with the status of some people and the impact and the effect they can have into some things. Therefore, I believe that it's always about the people, how good they were raised and how much they appreciate the fact that, being a millionaire and being a billionaire has nothing to do with your basic survival needs. What's the difference is that you can make more impact, even if the impact is negative or positive. Like having money will give you the power to kind of being able to change the world, even with a good or a bad sense. You can create schools for the kids in Africa, or you can use them to buy, I don't know, to invest into a war. You can use them to reinvest them into a business or a cryptocurrency, or you can be like, okay, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to gamble in a casino just for fun, or because I'm greedy and I want more money now. And yeah, that's what I think.
Okay.
I don't know. What's your view on that?
I used to not have any respect for money. I found it completely unnecessary in a way, and complete lack of respect for money, a lack of understanding, to be honest. But over time, I grew to understand that it serves a purpose, and it's like the utility of money is huge, okay, and you use it for many different things. Recently, I bumped into a video that talked about money in a more philosophical manner, okay? And a very interesting thing is that the alternative system to having money. And do you know what that is? Can you imagine?
No.
It's very primitive. It's called the barter economy. Okay, and the barter economy is like essentially you have sheep and I have oranges, and then you want oranges and I want milk from your sheep, and then we trade. Okay, we barter. Okay, that's the alternative to the currency economy is the barter economy. Okay, and a very interesting phenomenon is what the economists call the improbable coincidence of wants. Okay. Okay, which is it's the biggest limitation of a barter economy, because the point is that, okay, you have sheep and I have oranges, but if oranges are out of season and I cannot grow oranges, then that means that my power to buy milk in exchange of oranges is zero. Okay, so if I want to have milk during the winter where there are no oranges, I cannot have any milk.
True.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you at the same time, if say that you were in my position and you wanted to buy, I don't know, like jewelry, you could not do that because you would not have your side of the bargain. You know, you could not fulfill your side of the deal. And this is what the economists say the improbable coincidence of wants, which is to say that it's very, very unlikely that two people that have the same commodities will meet and at the same time they will have the exact same wants that each other satisfies in order to perform a successful trade. And this is why money is so necessary, because it is used as a medium to pay for things without having to have this coincidence, you know? And I think that if you really think about it, like now it sounds very simplistic, or it may sound stupid or boring or anything like that. But if you really, really think about it, that the improbable coincidence of wants is what makes money necessary in the world, then you start to understand like how money came to be, like how important it is to have money and that whole system. And I think it's a powerful lesson for anyone who is listening that has a difficult relationship with money, either because they have demonized money because they think that it's the root of all evil, or they are struggling with money because they give too much value to money. To understand that, to understand where money comes from, and I think that that awareness on its own, it's something that can help you, you know, put things in into perspective in terms of like money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you understand that the reason we have money is because the alternative fucking sucks, it's so impractical, then you understand that there is no reason to disrespect the system, and you have all the incentive to understand it and to win the game, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's really good. And of course, as you said, which I completely agree, there is nothing wrong with wanting to do well for yourself and your family. And I think that because we, especially if you come from countries that are struggling financially, or from family backgrounds that are struggling financially, um, we tend to hear a lot of stories where people scammed their way through money and they stepped on other people's bodies to achieve financial success and stuff like that. Uh, these are, as you said, this is the result of people's bad behavior. It's not the result of money bad behavior. And the reason I asked you, what do you think of the 10,000 pounds, euros on your table, is because the next thing that I wanted to tell you is that no matter what you think of the 10,000 pounds on your table, the reality is that the 10,000 pounds, they think nothing of you. Okay? It's just a piece of fucking paper in a way. So if you also put that into consideration, then you slowly start to have a different relationship with money. And I think this is the first like step towards achieving financial independence in a way, and freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm stunned. But yeah, money is, yeah. And I'm watching a TV series right now. I think it's called Expanse or something. It's a sci-fi thing, and
Mhm.
basically we're like 3,000, 4,000 years in the future, and people are living in the moon and on Mars and stuff like that, and nerdy things. And basically their currency is water, and basically most of the people live without water, and those that have water um, are able to control the rest of the world, let's say,
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
And here it's where it gets interesting, because yeah, currency, as in terms of coins and bills and the currency we have right now, it's only something symbolical, let's say, as you said before.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas having water as your currency is something that also affects your survival as a person. And
Mhm.
would you say that because, like, the more your survival needs are correlated with your currency, the more you are at ease with yourself in doing things that are more unethical and more bad, like killing and sacrificing and stealing? Or yeah, is it like because of that, or is it in general you think people that no matter what, they will try to get advantage of that the more they can?
I think that we are like most people in general are greedy. Okay. And if they know that they can have more, if they are the buffet, as you were last night, then they, they try to get as much as they can. Okay. Uh, and after that, it's like how much do they want to sacrifice in order to get more? Okay. If you want to sacrifice your like feeling of well-being, then you should eat 5, 6, 7, 8 plates at the buffet, right? If you don't care. And I think is that the interesting thing is that it doesn't matter uh, what the currency is correlated to, because let me remind you that it was not long ago that uh, all the currencies in the Western world were how do we say it in English? They were represented by a reserve in gold. Okay, so you knew that for every, for example, US dollar that was printed, there was the equivalent at the Fort Knox in Phoenix, Arizona. At the Fort Knox is a huge deposit box that was full of gold, right? And this was up until the I think it was up until the 60s. Okay, and then what happened is that they stopped having this correlation between the US dollar and the gold reserve, and from then on, it nothing much has changed in terms of like how we view money, right? So I don't think that changing what money correlates to changes our attitude towards money, because the because money is a commodity in any way. So it's something that allows you to buy and sell things, and that's pretty much it. As long as we agree with each other what's the value of money, then we're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
I think
Good.
that's the main idea. But there is a whole other talk about it that we should do another time if you want, because it's like a huge talk about what money in the modern world means, like what's the mechanism behind it. Because as I told you, since it's no longer represented by gold reserves in a big safe in deep underground cave somewhere. The thing is that people can inflate it, okay, because you can print money without having to regulate it at the same time, which means that the more supply there is, the price of money becomes less. And this is why you have inflation. This is why $1,000 15 years ago was more money than today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is like another interesting topic.
Guys, by the way, if you are listening to us right now, let us know in the comment below if you would like that to happen on the next podcast next week. And, if you want to, we will definitely do it. Sounds like interesting to me as well. Very interesting.
Yeah, for me it's very interesting. It's something that I started studying last year, like in 2016, when I first got introduced to Bitcoin, because I didn't understand what was the function of it, and the reason that many people don't understand the function of like Bitcoin, it's because they don't understand the function of money, and it's. It's very interesting that we use money so much, right? And I think that this is so true. Is what I don't remember who said it. Is that your your whole like psychology, your whole character, like what you want the most, is reflected by how you spend your money. Okay, this is what you give value to. Okay, if I give value to sushi, then this is reflected because I buy sushi. Okay, and this is so important to understand. And money is like what what we come across every day in our every transaction. Okay, imagine how like can you imagine how many people you've met because you had a trade with them for money? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, so few people like understand the function of money in its essence. Okay, do you know what I mean? Do you get it?
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
It's like the whole mechanism behind it, and and then weird stuff happens, like the global economic crisis and all these things, like the banks, the monetary funds, the new technologies like Bitcoin and stuff like that, they happen, and people like they wonder what happened, like they wonder what it is, and it's because they wonder because they lack and knowledge of the fundamentals. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much it. There's a good quote. I don't know who said it, but it goes like this. Like it says that there are three kinds of people. Okay, is those that make this happen, those that watch things happen, and those that wonder what happened. And it's like you never want to be the third category. You never want to be the person that wonders what happened. Okay, you want to be either making things happen or you want to watch things happen in a way that you understand.
All right.
Okay, so I think that things like that, like money, things like relationships, things like uh, human health, physical health, and mental health, like all this fundamental knowledge is something that I think every person needs to study to understand. And I think that whether you like the idea of a healthy diet, whether you like the idea of a healthy wallet or a healthy mind, even if you never thought about it before, you have to understand that your life is literally ruled by these principles and by this body of knowledge, and it's your responsibility in a way to acquire that knowledge in order to to do well for yourself and for the people that you care the most for.
I have nothing to say. You stunned me.
So yeah, that's it from me. I think we should wrap it up, to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
I really don't want to play the game today, if that's okay with you.
Why are you afraid now?
I am not afraid. I'm just I don't feel inspired to play the game right now. I don't know.
Sure. Guys, write in the comments, of course, that Stratis is afraid. And
I'm
but no,
chickening
no.
out.
Yeah, she's chickening out, but I don't think this expression exists in English.
Chicken out, of course. There is an expression, chicken out.
Kotepse. Okay.
Yeah, chicken out.
But let's wrap it up by first of all, I'd like to say a quiz either way that guys, as we said in the beginning or middle of this call, this podcast, don't be afraid to fail. Like I think both Stratis and I would definitely could wish you all to go out and fail and learn from that and then become the best possible version of yourself. So go out and fail and don't be afraid to fail. And yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. So episode number 21, it is done. Let us know in the comment below how you like it. And don't forget to like this video as well on YouTube. It helps us also to see what kind of content you guys like so we can create more. And as always, we will see you next week on Tuesday, same time. Have a good one.
Peace.